Hey guys, it's your favorite Donabot here. Now, originally I did want this to be Drogon. However, I just kept having this itch to change it, considering the sheer fact I do so much dragon-like content on this channel, and I already have another one with Yamato no Orochi in the X-Men. So today I decided to switch it out, and this time putting Zilla Jr. in a very simple, manner. What if Zilla Jr. was in Monster Hunter? And well, I found a way to actually do this. Let's talk about it. Now, in the world of Monster Hunter, there have been some dimensional anomalies where rifts in space and time open, allowing monsters and other beings to come into their world and even inhabit it in their own way. And this is what brings Zilla here. He's simply swimming around, thinking about all the things he's done, stopping the Tachyon invasion and everything. However, when he swims, he feels something pulling him. It's strong, almost like a black hole, and he's able to resist it for some time, but it keeps pulling him further, further, and further until some tendrils lash out and grab it. These energy tendrils want him. This dimension wants him there, and it just simply yanks him through the portal, sending him hurtling through time, if not space itself. And he crash lands in the ancient forest, and when he wakes up, he sees someone next to him, a human with white hair and a sword. He's also waking up as well, and they're both just kind of looking around. The human is Geralt, a powerful sorcerer, the Witcher himself. And he's looking around like, the heck? Where are we? You, monster. And Junior looks at him like, is this little human talking to me? What? What do you want? And again, Zilla kind of looks at him like, okay, what? I'm trying to observe and figure out where I am. And Zilla even begins to sniff around the area. He smells something. It's definitely not friendly. And he begins to, well, wander towards it, where Geralt is also following him as well. And this is where we actually see what he's tracking, that being a ancient lesson. And obviously, Zilla does not like the smell of it, to which Geralt, seeing this as an opportunity, decides to use the monster in order to team up with him. So, believe it or not, they battle against Ancient Leshen. Now, in the game, apparently, Monster Hunter World, Ancient Leshen is considered to be Elder Dragon tier. I know it is what it is. Apparently the game, or maybe the energies gave him like certain properties and stuff, but he is considered an Elder Dragon level threat in a way. So believe it or not, we are going to apply that logic here. And this is where, during the battle, Zilla does put up an amazing fight and actually is the one to blast through a lot of Leshen's defenses and give Geralt the killing blow. However, before Geralt can give the killing blow, Leshen deals one of his own, utilizing black magic to create a spear and pierce Zilla through his heart and instantly dropping him. And as Geralt deals the finishing blow, he runs over toward Zilla and looks at him in disbelief. The monster is, well, obviously still alive, but he's on borrowed time. And the only way Geralt can save him is by utilizing his own magic to counteract the black magic that Leshen used. So Geralt actually begins to conduct a spell, and this allows Zilla to heal, but it does come at a cost. He needs to heal in a different form for right now, meaning his beast form or his true self will have to be contained for a moment. So Geralt actually utilizes a transformation, or a transformation spell, if you will, to turn Junior into a humanoid-like figure. He still has some of his features, like his eyes, and obviously some of his, skin remains somewhat the same, but he does look more humanish. And this is where the rest of the guild appears. And they actually thank Geralt for getting rid of Leshen, but then they see the unconscious Zilla there, And the admiral's looking like, who's this? To which Geralt kind of explains that this was the monster that helped me. I do not know where he's from. I do not know what dimension he's in. But he's a good heart. But he has a good heart. And right now, since he saved him, he owes him this much. And well, considering the sheer fact that right now Zilla is unconscious, the guild decides that they'll take him in. They'll help him and they'll get him, maybe back to his dimension if they can get to it. However, this would never come to be, as when Geralt leaves, this is where the dimensional anomalies actually end. And well, Zilla does take some time to recover. And when he wakes up, he's actually a little starstruck. What just happened? Where is he? Why does he feel different? Wait, where's his tail? What the heck? Oh man, what happened? Did he get his tail ripped off? And so he simply walks around getting used to, I guess you could say, he honestly would understand that, well, he kind of has a human body, or he would just walk around normally. Because imagine him just kind of walking around with his arms in front like a T-Rex, but he's in like a whole human body. And this is where he actually makes his way to a mirror, or at least he passes by one and sees himself in this different form. He then examines it, like pulling his mouth, showing his teeth, and just kind of like sticking his finger in there. And he just looks shocked, startled even, like straight up about to pass out, in my opinion. And this is where the admiral walks in along with the huntsman. And they pretty much just introduce themselves, and well, they finally get a name out of them. And it's Godzilla. But again, I am going to call him Zilla for this story. So just kind of run with it, right? So Junior here honestly just explains where he came from, and the fact that he didn't know what happened. He doesn't even know if his family, or at least his adoptive family, if you will, is okay. And right now, I guess he's stuck here. So he's going to make the best of it, I guess. And so this is where they want to test him. You see, they found a new region, and right now their hunter is actually busy. So they want him to be able to kind of investigate this region, but they want to see if he's capable of, training. And so this is where, or, fighting, excuse me. So Zilla pretty much goes with the huntsman to the arena, and he tests himself out. He still has some of his strength, albeit it's not to the same degree, but he's still pretty strong. And actually, he gets estimated to be around the same level as a Tiger Rex, to which is not bad in the verse, to be honest. Tiger Rexes are the strongest flying, well, outside of a Cantor and Eucanlos and maybe an Elder Dragon level monsters, albeit Basil Goose, I would definitely say he is above. Tiger Rex is one of the strongest flying wyverns out there. So I think that should be commendable on its own for just even a humanized Zilla at this point, right? So Zilla does begin his training process, and he finds out he still can do most of his things, except his atomic fire. He can't do that. The best he can get is a small flaming huff out of his mouth, and this does devastate him. However, he is still able to burrow underground and come from underneath, so this does help him. He also realizes that he still has his jumping ability, but one little problem that the huntsman sees: he's not skilled. And in all honesty, he could probably brawl with the best of the best monsters, but with this new region, this new ecosystem, yeah, you're gonna need to learn how to fight, buddy. And so this is where Zilla kind of looks at him like, I don't think I need to learn how to fight. To which the huntsman says, okay, pick up a weapon and fight him. I won't even take it seriously. If you can land a blow on me, then you don't need to train. Ever. But if I win, you're going to train. And you're going to find your weapon. To which Zilla, a little bit happy about this, picks up dual blades. and he actually rushes at the huntsman. However, with the huntsman being a seasoned warrior, Zilla doesn't let even get a hit in. Sorry, he doesn't get a single blow on the huntsman. The huntsman parries, blocks, and doesn't even take out the full extent of his Rathian blade, and he simply just backhands Zilla in the back of his head and just simply tells him, really? That's the best you got? That's how you're going to use one of our weapons? And so he does try it again, but this time he picks up a great sword. And believe it or not, this actually does impress the huntsman, as he wields a great sword with simply one hand. Again, keep in mind, the greatsword is usually one of the heaviest weapons of all time. So him utilizing it with one hand just shows how strong he is. However, he's unfocused, he's undisciplined, and he's not skilled. So the huntsman beats him again. He picks up another weapon, and he does it again. This goes on to the point where Zilla simply states, all right, fine, you got me. I lose. I guess I'll be learning from you now. To which the huntsman simply states, you actually utilize the great sword pretty well. Maybe that'll be your weapon from here on out. To which Zilla doesn't really think it should, but this is where the huntsman simply states that, well, we have plenty of weapons you can choose from, so believe it or not, have fun with it. And well, days go by, and Zilla's training is progressive. He actually learns to actually like it. He learns how to throw a proper punch, a proper kick, even comboing them in combat as well. So he's decently trained in hand-to-hand combat, which, if you guys don't know, yes, the hunters do have to learn hand-to-hand combat, as it is a part of their fighting styles. They do have to learn how to use weapons, but they also do need to learn how to fight with their bare hands and stuff, apparently. And this has actually been shown with the likes of Luna Garen's armor, and his apparent dual blades are also claws. So this does show the hunter can fight in a hand-to-hand type of scenario. So just some food for thought. So Zilla is pretty much training at this point, and well, he's doing great, like I said earlier, and he finds his weapon, that being the sword and shield. It's small, yes, but it's agile and it's definitely flexible, something that represents how Zilla Jr. basically fights. Because keep in mind, he is a fast, agile, and intelligent monster, and he can use brute force when it's needed. And I actually think this suits him a lot more than any other weapon. And so when he's ready, he makes his way towards the newest area that they have to investigate, that being the Guiding Lands. And this area is filled to the brim with many monsters, and he actually goes with the serious handler. Just gonna call her handler for this one, just because I don't know why they just did not give her a name at all. I just feel like that's kind of disrespectful. They even call the handler a handler. Like, yo, give these girls some names. Like, just the audacity, am I right? So, believe it or not, Zilla and his handler pretty much just walk through the area at the moment and are just kind of investigating everything. They do come across, the seething Bazagoose and the Runers in ogre fighting, and this is where Zilla actually does find out a bit more about the monsters. There are levels, there are tiers, and there are beings that are simply beyond those tiers. But the serious handler simply tells him that she prays that they never have to meet them ever. So believe it or not, Zilla does do some of the investigations and runs into the Zenogre that's in the area, or the local, Zenogre that's there. And he encounters a Rathalos and a Diablos at the same time. And this shapes his whole world personality, or his whole world entirely. And it's just, these monsters are kind of like his at home, except they're faster, they're more agile, they're smart, And here he is in this humanized body, and he still feels like he's at home, that he can just fight these monsters to his heart's content under the guild's orders. And this is where I would actually have him be the one to hunt down the Zinogre. He manages to beat it, and I would definitely say it's a high difficulty type of fight, because this would definitely be his first hunt. And I actually think that would be pretty amazing as well. Because imagine your first hunt is against a Zinogre and you win that. Nah, there's no way. There's no way they should be stopping him. And well, believe it or not, this actually goes into his investigation with a Jan Kutku, and he meets a Devil Joe for the first time as well. And believe it or not, before the Jan Kutku even gets his, licks in, this is where he's even feeling gutsy enough to challenge the Devil Joe. However, he soon finds out that that is a ballpark on its own. Like, it's vastly different. So, believe it or not, this is where Zilla actually does, lose here, or he faints. However, he is dragged back to camp. And this is where he realizes that he can't fight like himself with these weapons. He can't. While he wants to, it's not him. And this is where the handlers suggest that maybe this is the kind of opportunity you need to really test yourself. So, believe it or not, Zilla leaves his weapons at the camp and decides to go at this barehanded, seeing what he can do. And when he does this, the fight would actually go something like this. He spots Devil Joe and roars at him. Devil Joe is confused, but again, still a gluttony for anything at this point. That fat yet muscular boy is roaring back at him and pretty much charges, and Zilla does the same. And when they clash, it's a clash of strength, a clash of wills, and Zilla begins to feel more like himself. This is what he needed. This is what he wanted. He wanted to feel like he could fight anything at this point, be himself in the thrill of combat, and he manages to do this. However, he doesn't kill Devil Joe. No, he actually begins to burrow beneath Devil Joe's feet when he tries to use the dragon energy. And so when Devil Joe actually utilizes the dragon energy to cause the ground to explode, this makes him collapse in on himself and knocks him out. This meaning that the guild pretty much captures another Devil Joe at this point. And the same with Jan Garuga, albeit this requires Zilla's more leaping ability and his agility. And so seeing that he's definitely one of a kind, and the fact that he beat these monsters with his bare hands, they decide to make an entirely new weapon for him. And these being brass knuckles, made from the monsters of not only Jan Garuga, but from the other monsters he's hunted. And pretty much they combine the monsters of Brute Tigerex, Raging Brachadios, and the Zinogre to basically, not just the Zinogre, a Stygian Zinogre, to basically give him these gauntlets, if you will. I think that would be a better one. These gauntlets to where he's able to channel the power or destructive capability of these monsters and actually utilize it with his own strength behind him. So essentially, he dons one of the first pair of, or I guess you could say that will be the first pair of gauntlets in Monster Hunter to ever exist. Something I do think does need to exist, because imagine just running the absolute fade with a monster and you can just block, hit, parry, and then uppercut one. Nah, that probably would make the hunter too overpowered, because imagine him just straight up fist fighting a Brachadios. Yeah, we're definitely going to have that. I'm definitely going to put that as Zilla's lore as well. So the monsters he's actually been able to take down, and pretty much he captures them, because I don't think he would kill them. It's never been, he was been able to kill monsters before, but he seems a bit more reserved to to capture monsters in this kind of scenario than to kill them. And so this is where he's actually able to beat and capture the following monsters, like I said. Devil Joe, Yangaruga, Zinogre, obviously, then Stygian Zinogre as well, Raging Brachydios, and Brute Tigerex. He's been able to capture and beat them all. This then puts him on a task, the guild then puts him on a task to find and either slay or subdue Gold Rathian and Silver Rathlos. And again, Zilla now being able to fight like himself with these new weapons does begin to show that he is far more capable of a fighter than anyone had ever thought. This also leads him to hunt down Frostfang, Barioth, and even Rajang and Furious Rajang. He begins to make his way up the ranks. However, this is where everything kind of stops for him, because they now have to prepare themselves for the newest discovery, that being Sapphire Jiva. And this is where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and yes, I will actually be taking this story into Monster Hunter Wilds. But first, I kind of like to establish the little bit of lore for Zilla Jr. But hey, please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and y'all have a blessed day.